What is the most valuable resource we have? A lot of people may say water, energy, food. But at the end of the day, it's human potential. Because let's say the world is heating up a lot, or we're maybe running out of water. Well, if we have great humans who have reached their potential, we're going to be able to solve those problems. And that's the essence of education. If we can fix education, we can eventually solve every other problem. So if there's so much potential in education, why hasn't anybody focused on it? Why are we devoting time to other problems? And why is the school system staying the same for multiple years? And we've seen the large effects of this, and the main problem that we focused on, which is dropouts in developed countries. In 2018, 2.1 million students from the age of 16 to 24 were classified as dropouts, people who couldn't even get a high school degree. That's 2.1 million people who aren't reaching their full potential. The impacts of school dropouts are a lot of these people, in fact 80%, end up in our jail system. These people are 4 times more likely to end up in poverty. And they're almost 36% less likely to get a job. Not only that, but high school dropouts in the US alone cost taxpayers $292,000 over their lifetime. It's clear that high school dropouts are a problem. The reason we decided to focus on developed countries is because they already have the infrastructure ready to make change. And if we can bridge this small gap in this infrastructure that's already built, well then the people who come out of that system, they can reach their full potential and make bigger impact in these developing countries. So why are there so many high school dropouts? The reality is it isn't a developed country problem. It's only a problem for specific countries like the US, which we're going to be focusing on in this presentation. First trend we recognized was that low-income families were 2.4 times more likely to drop out of school than middle-income families, and 10 times more likely to drop out than high-income families. So why are they more likely to drop out? We looked through multiple case studies, interviews, and stories and found that a lot of these students were losing their motivation. Specifically, they were not getting any motivation from their parents at home or their peers at school. Why are so many students losing their motivation? It's because schools are still segregated. When you look at poverty rates and school population, you'll find that low-income families often attend the same school. And this is actually a race problem. That's because people of color are more likely to be poor and as a result drop out of school. When you look at most school district populations, 75% of the kids are either white or non-white. So imagine you're a color student at a school where people are constantly dropping out. It's a normal. What do you think you're gonna do? We all know our environment influences us largely, and students can easily lose their motivation once they think it's just a regular thing to drop out. So we can conclude socioeconomic background plays a huge role in dropout rates. The other side of this problem is just people who don't succeed in school, people who don't fit in. Girls were 57% and boys 68% less likely to attend college or university if they felt feelings of not fitting in. When people don't fit in, they feel alienated, they lose motivation, and we kind of see the overlap of the problem. In both the socioeconomic background problem and where people don't succeed or fit in, they start to lose motivation. So our intuition led us to, why can't teachers help those students? Why can't teachers provide them some extra motivation? And we looked into that problem. We learned teachers had little time to plan their lessons and tailor it for specific students. And as a result, they may not be succeeding. And to understand why that's happening, we're going to need to take a deeper look at the US education system. According to the OECD, US schools and teachers have to work 1 hour and 30 minutes more than the average among other countries. But that's still not more hours than countries like Japan or the UK. However, the PISA scores, which measure mathematical and literacy skills, were much lower in the US compared to countries like Finland or even the Japan and UK, who spend more hours in the classroom. So what was the difference? What was the tipping point? Well, we found US teachers spend 5 hours and 30 minutes just teaching kids, which is way higher than any other country. They're able to spend more time preparing lessons, marking tests, and giving quality feedback. We knew it would be extremely hard to make any governmental change or impact the poverty system. So instead, we just needed to take those few hours teachers had per week to tailor and plan lessons and attend to certain students, and we needed to make them the most valuable hours that a teacher could have. So we asked ourselves, how could we give kids motivation? What could teachers learn in this short amount of time or plan in this short amount of time to make an impact in these students? We thought outdated education played a huge part in this problem. If we can teach students about more interesting topics, up-to-date topics, and ones that are just making a big impact in the world right now, their chances of finding something that they can cling to, some sort of motivation, some sort of passion, will be way higher. We also know teachers may need to explain a topic to a student in multiple ways or through multiple medias. Lastly, we needed to make it easy for students to pursue their motivation. If they were really interested about a topic they learned from school, then we would have to make it extremely easy to just go and break into that space and find resources you need to learn about it. Those 3 future visions led us to our solution, Dictionary. To go more in depth into the solution, I'll send it over to Mars.
Dictionary is a personalized search engine and recommender system built specifically for education. Every user and resource has a specific profile vector describing certain attributes. To calculate how likely it is for a resource to be recommended to a user, we take the sigmoid of the dot product of both profiles. This is called a rating between a user and a resource.
The first feature we have is a search. We get possible results off of a broad Google search, then rank them based on the rating. Whenever a user clicks on a resource, both the profile of the resource and the user are trained to increase the rating. This means that similar users are more likely to have a higher rating with this resource, and this user is more likely to have a higher rating with similar resources. Here, user 1 is clicking many math resources, and user 2 is clicking many English resources. User 3 clicks some math resources, so we recommend other math resources that similar users clicked on.
The second feature is a feed. Based on a user's profile and their search history, we compile a list of resources similar to the ones the user has clicked on, but that they have never seen before.
Thanks for that walkthrough, Mars. Let's see what we have in store in the future for Dictionary. How personalized a resource may be entirely depends on the data that we have. If we can learn if people are visual or auditory learners, what their grades are, what subjects they're interested in, we can match certain profiles, ones that are similar. And let's say one profile found a resource that really helped them understand this complex topic. Well, then we're more likely to suggest that resource to the other person with a similar profile. We also plan to add in the feature of students and teachers being able to upload their own resources and having those resources be voted on so that we can determine which ones are the highest quality. They can either add in resources through the website directly or through the Chrome extension we expect to build, which you can easily just press on and it will add the site that you're currently on to your profile and to the public. This reduces barriers to entry so students and teachers don't have to go through the hassle of switching back and forth between tabs. At the same time, we plan to try and incentivize the product. One solution we have is to add comments so teachers and students can extract the most valuable information from a source so that everybody else can learn from that. The other thing we plan to add is an option for students to upload resources to a folder. So let's say they're doing a research project and they need to find resources on whatever they're studying. They can upload those to their profile in a specific folder and their teacher can easily mark them, while at the same time being exposed to our product. Once we build out the more technical areas of the solution and research data that we can use to tailor resources more specific, we will plan to market it and distribute it to school systems. Let's end off with what Dictionary looks like in action. Okay, just a good old lesson on current and static electricity, parallel and series circuits. Everything's gonna go just fine. Oh my gosh, why is this teacher so boring, man? You know, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Oh my gosh, man, why is no one paying attention? Guess I gotta prepare for the next lesson. Maybe I'll use Dictionary. Ooh, I got a good lesson today, man. Got the resource from Dictionary. It's gonna be the same thing as yesterday. Wait, that looks really cool, yo. Yo, what is that? Oh, they're actually paying attention. The end.